Movie recaps here. Today I'm going to explain an Indonesian comedy drama film called Too Handsome to Handle. Spoilers ahead. Look out and fare thee well. The Moss family has been attractive for a long time. They are respected by quite a few people due to their magnificence, which thusly makes them huge load of cash. The oldest child, Okis, is a web force to be reckoned with. He has a huge number of adherents as a result of his looks and is too considered an affection master who assists men with dazzling their pounds. The dad, Pakar, used to be a heartbreaker who dated in excess of 1,200 young ladies prior to meeting their mom. In the meantime, the mother can likewise be considered attractive in light of her manly highlights and an undeniable mustache. In conclusion, the hero, Kulin, is the most youthful child and the most alluring of all. The family has become acclimated to their life as individuals with great looks. Aside from Kulin, who battles to live regularly as a result of his comeliness. He frequently wishes he was just somewhat alluring, like that, he could go out without being pursued by a horde of ladies without fail. Young ladies go off the deep end, pass out, pull their hair, and frequently get nose drains on getting a gander at his appealing face. Accordingly, he has never had authentic communication with a young lady. He abstains from going out openly so a lot as could really be expected and has been self-taught till now. Kulin has no companions he can converse with other than his pet fish. He regularly plays a card game with it and converses with it without holding back. His family watches him through a camera in stress. They need him to have an ordinary adolescent life and make an honest effort to help him. Okis regularly shows him pictures of young ladies, attempting to attach him with somebody. Notwithstanding, Kulin says that his sort in young ladies is somebody who really tries to avoid him. He needs to be seen for his character and interest, not his face. When nothing attempts to persuade Kulin to go out, the family makes it a stride further. They intend to counterfeit monetary issues and responsibility him into going to a school. One night when Kulin awakens to drink water, his folks imagine to be stressed over their accounts. They drastically announce that they will as it were have fried eggs for breakfast until they bring in sufficient cash for Kulin's self-teaching. He feels dreadful to bring his folks such a lot of hardship. The following morning, he pronounces that he will be going to class for the impending semester. The family is thrilled until he specifies that he will simply go to an all-young men's school. Despite the fact that they would have favored him to have the option to converse with young ladies, they are glad to approach slowly and carefully. A couple of days after the fact is Kulin's first day at an real school. Okis drops him off on his bicycle, yet Kulin doesn't take his protective cap off. He designs to wear it the whole day to conceal the reality he is attractive. Notwithstanding, the arrangement misfires when the head protector gets more notice than he planned to. Kulin discreetly plunks down in the last seat, however is called out by the class menace Sidi and his cronies. Whenever the instructor enters the homeroom, she also is amazed to see a person with a cap. She asks him to take it off right that moment. Albeit hesitant, Kulin has no chance except for to oblige. He gradually takes the cap off in a sensational manner, uncovering his face. In the accompanying scene, the instructor is being stacked into an emergency vehicle. Incidentally, she began to nosebleed and hyperventilate on the grounds that of Kulin's excellence. Different children gripe to the important that the new understudy is excessively attractive to deal with. Kulin goes through the corridor to return home, however is stumbled by one of the domineering jerks. They carry him to the school's storeroom and present themselves like they are power officers. They are known as the Teague Attack, a gathering of 3 harassers drove by Sidi, the importance child. Later, the preposterous presentation, they uncover that they need Kulin's assistance to ask a young lady out for prom. The gathering has been in the senior year of school for the beyond 3 years. They decline to graduate until Sidi goes to the prom with the most delightful young lady of the BBM school, Amanda. Be that as it may, she just acknowledges demands from attractive men, so the gathering needs Kulin to convey the promposal. They dole out a guiltless person, Kibo, to help Kulin and lead the way. Kibo has likewise been a casualty of their tricks previously and is obliged to do what the harassers say. Subsequently, Kulin goes to the foremost's office with Kibo to submit an authority question about tormenting in school. Kibo knows what the result will be, nevertheless he actually goes with Kulin. The chief is disturbed by his child declining to graduate. Since Kulin's excellence allows him an opportunity to take Amanda to the prom, the chief needs them to do anything that the harassers say. That evening, Kulin and Kibo choose to finish the responsibility the following day and get free of the obligation. Kibo is the principal individual who has given grace to Kulin, random to his excellence. Albeit the day didn't go as arranged, he is glad to have acquired a companion. The following morning, they go to the BBM school where the young ladies smell the presence of the young men. They are severe about not permitting terrible young men to enter the school premises. Henceforth, when they notice Kulin wearing a cap, the whole school requests that he take it off. In a climactic scene, Kulin takes the cap off and commotion results among the young ladies. A couple of hours after the fact, the news makes it to the TV. Clasps of young ladies crying, seeping through their noses, getting had, also bouncing around are being shared overall around online media. Kulin begins being known as the too attractive to even think about taking care of fellow. The most smoking understudy of the BBM school and model. Named Amanda likewise hears the news and is right away stricken by Kulin. He is the main person who matches in magnificence and status with her. She promptly makes it her main goal to intrigue him. At the point when the news becomes gigantic, a horde of young ladies assembles before the Moss home. The family begins charging them cash for a house visit. Kulin, who is stowing away in the roads, sees his family on the news. He feels deceived and utilized by his own kin. At the point when they call him, he declines to get back home and feels much more troubled when his pet fish is misused and killed by the vacationers. He is currently on the top of a structure stowing away from the insane people pursuing him in the roads. Abruptly, a young lady shows up behind him and asks, assuming he will leap off the rooftop. Kulin looks at her in shock since she doesn't drain from her nose or drop on seeing him. The young lady won't talk and essentially leaves. Kulin is apprehensive to the point that he can scarcely talk. The experience fills his heart with joy much better. Some time later, he calls Kibo, who gets him and welcomes him to his home. He and his grandma invite Kulin to remain however long he needs. On strolling into Kibo's room, he sees two interesting collectibles playing a card game and is flabbergasted by them. They understand that they share a few normal interests and playing card assortment is one of them. The next day, they visit the all-young ladies' school to search for the young lady from yesterday. While they are busy, they likewise meet Amanda and give her the records of the promposal sent by Cede. Amanda professes to be unamused by Kulin's excellence, however after he leaves, her nose drains lavishly. Kulin sees his crush on the steps, however different young ladies encompassing him don't permit him to meet her. For the following not many days, Kibo and Kulin do everything together and become dearest companions. One evening, Kibo takes Kulin to play futsal where he oftentimes goes to meet his crush, Rear. After the match, Kulin sees the young lady from the rooftop working at a shop close by. He can't resist the urge to gaze at her. All at once, Kibo shows up and acquaints Rear with him. Kulin finds that she is additionally Kibo's crush who he was discussing before. The two appear to be pretty close, which makes Kulin desirous. He can scarcely nod off that evening on the grounds that the inclination is new and befuddling to him. Then, at that point, he recollects Okis as an adoration master and fixes a gathering with him. Whenever they meet the next morning, Okis separates sobbing tears of satisfaction. He had been trusting that the day will offer his sibling guidance on young ladies. Kulin has excused his loved ones for selling him out to his fans since, supposing that had not occurred, he could never have met Rear. The siblings then, at that point, go out on the town to shop for food while Okis drills down the places of things Kulin ought to do to dazzle his crush. As Kulin follows Okis' ideas, he enlists he is a long way from realizing Rear like Kibo knows her. Be that as it may, he actually doesn't have any desire to abandon his first love. One evening, Amanda comes to the young men's school and hands Kulin a greeting for her birthday. Close by it, she additionally gives him a telephone as a gift. Sometime thereafter, Kibo, Kulin, and Rear go to karaoke. In the long run, Rear and Kulin get to sing together. While Kulin is eager to two-part harmony with her, Rear just spotlights on Kibo. He soon registers that she additionally prefers Kibo back. The disclosure causes his heart to fold in envy. Along these lines, when Kibo isn't anywhere near, he gruffly inquires as to whether she has eyes only for him. At first, Rear denies it, yet when Kulin lies about Kibo being enamored with Amanda, her face drops. Her articulation is to the point of validating his intuitions. In the wake of getting back, Kulin calls Amanda and inquires her for some help. She joyfully consents to do whatever he says. The following day, a few group accumulate at the scene to praise her birthday. At the point when Kulin and Kibo show up, Amanda invites them. Peculiarly enough, she is by all accounts more inspired by Kibo than in Kulin. She even pulls him to the side to talk to him in private. Simultaneously, Rear shows up at the party and sees Amanda kissing Kibo. Shattered, she runs outside, exploiting her weakness. Kulin admits his affections for her. Rear says thanks to him yet guarantees that she never saw him as somebody in excess of a companion. Indeed, even subsequent to plotting against his main dearest companion, Kulin doesn't get anything consequently. The gathering of menaces likewise see Amanda kissing Kibo and are irritated with desire and outrage. They beat Kibo available while Kulin watches from neighboring, too terrified to even think about meddling. Afterward, he brings Kibo home and dresses his injuries close by his grandma. Solely after seeing him groan in torment, does Kulin understand that he has committed a tremendous error. The following day, Kibo gives him an amazing card from his card assortment that Kulin had been needing for quite a while. Organization-ridden, Kulin admits to all that off base he has done work now. Kibo is stunned. What's more, wounded by the treachery. He guarantees that he would have left Rear assuming he realized Kulin enjoyed her as well. The words just hurt Kulin considerably more. Finally, Kibo orders him to get out of the house right away. Realizing that he is off base, Kulin essentially leaves. He at long last gets back following a month. His family is thrilled, yet the equivalent can't be said for Kulin. He secures himself his room and doesn't converse with anybody. Be that as it may, in particular, he misses his closest companion. The two catch each other on occasion, however share nothing in excess of a look. At home, Kulin's mom is stressed over his prosperity. She moves toward him one evening and gives him his pet fish that never passed on. She additionally lets him know that he can return to being self-taught, assuming that is what he likes. The family just needs his satisfaction and is prepared to do anything for it. Kulin, contacted by her words, understands that he has individuals in his day-to-day existence who are pulling for his victory. This persuades him to make things right among him and Kibo. The following morning, he runs to Rear and tells her beginning and end. Following that, he goes to Kibo and attempts to apologize. Despite the fact that Kibo excuses him from the outset, when gotten some information about Rear, he begins to portray the amount he loves her. Kulin shows him that Rear was paying attention to him on the telephone the whole time. Like that, he retouches their relationship and returns to being both their companion. A couple of days after the fact, they generally go to prom together. Kibo's date is Rear while Kulin's date is Amanda. True to form, Kulin and Amanda bring home the championship of prom lord and sovereign. Kulin hears a young lady remark that he is just somewhat attractive and is in a split second attracted to her, demonstrating the beginning of another relationship.